Damn, bro. So, do you have a favorite artist
Favorite
other
artist?
than yourself?
Definitely not myself. Let's see. Favorite artist probably go Frank Ocean and Kanye West.
Oh
Off
shit.
the top of
Okay.
my head, yeah.
Hell yeah. Are those well? First of all, how long you been doing music for?
Music for a long time.
Yeah.
Wrote my first rap in 5th grade, and then
Damn.
ever since then. And then I think I first recorded in maybe the 6th grade, and then set up a home studio in 7th, 8th grade, somewhere around
Oh
that time.
wow. So you've been doing it for a while. This is not just something recent. Do you feel like you always were kind of just like musically inclined, or is something you felt like you had to develop?
I feel like you get those stories from like your family when you do stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't know if they're like true or just your family, just like, oh, like, yeah,
Yeah.
because you did this when you were a baby. But yeah, they used to tell me I used to sing like Bone Thugs and Harmony when I
Mhm.
was like little, but obviously I don't remember. First musical memory is probably like Nelly Country Grammar, the
Mhm.
video. I seen that, and of course I was a kid growing up in St. Louis, so seeing that video, I didn't know I wanted to be like a rapper or make
Yeah.
songs or music or anything, but I was like, oh, I want to be like an entertainer. It was that, and then the Usher My Way video. So both of those, I was like, I want to be some type of entertainer or dancer or something.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Yeah.
those two songs are like memories that stick out.
Hell yeah. Well, you said you grew up in St. Louis. What was kind of like your upbringing like? How would you describe like your childhood and just up until like high school?
Childhood,
Yeah.
I would say, so I was in St. Louis probably until the end of middle school, so until 8th grade. I would say it's pretty like a normal.
Mhm.
I don't think children can tell like the difference between like if you're struggling
Yeah.
or if you are like rich or something. Definitely wasn't rich. Lived in a rough neighborhood. Our car got stolen out of our driveway,
Oh,
so I'm
shit.
pretty sure
Hey, I can relate to that.
our neighborhood wasn't the best neighborhood.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got it back. It's all good.
Yeah.
Normandy School District. Normandy High School, famously known about, I don't know how many years ago, but
For what?
we got on CNN because we had like 50 cases of HIV.
Oh shit.
in the,
That's
I mean, it's
wild.
not funny, but
Yeah.
in the high school. So shout out to Normandy for
Yeah.
making national news. But yeah, when I look at the school district now, it's like one of the lowest ranked school districts. But like you said, when you're a kid, I mean,
You don't realize
you
it.
can't really tell. It didn't seem bad. All the teachers and everything cared
Mhm.
about you and all that stuff. My brother graduated from Normandy High School, so super cool. I just met Smino's bodyguard. He graduated from Normandy High School apparently too. So
Oh shit.
small world, but yeah, I'm super proud to be product of Normandy School District. But yeah, upbringing was pretty fine, and then from there moved to San Antonio. Lived on Fort Sam Houston, the military base. So same thing. I would probably say I didn't feel like any struggle in high school. I was getting like all the Jordan releases and all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But at that time, you know, my brother had moved out. My sister was going to college, so I guess that freed up some money
Yeah.
for me. But still
Did you
wasn't
grow up with both parents?
just my mom once I moved
Mhm.
to, I guess before I moved to Texas. But
Yeah.
yeah, just my mom for the most part, really, for half of my child life. So probably around that middle school era, stopped
Gotcha.
seeing my dad as much, but still kind of sort of had a relationship with him, and then kind of moved, and that relationship, I would say, went away, but not like in a negative way.
Mhm.
I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I think I understand better as an adult.
In high school, like, were you kind of thinking already what you wanted to do? And I mean, you mentioned you wanted to like be entertainer and just kind of do something in that realm. Was that like always on your mind?
Yeah, so I always made music. I always had in my mind that I was going to be like a child star or
Mhm.
be like one of those
Yeah,
people
yeah.
like on Disney Channel or something. I was like, man, I'm going to be on the TV
Mhm.
show, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, that didn't happen. But at that time, I started getting into sports and ran track and cross country and basketball in high school. Eventually, I don't think I was thinking about, I always did music, and I never looked at it as something that was going to be like a job one day or,
Mhm.
you know, at least like realistically. I just like always did it because
Yeah.
it was like my thing that I always did. So in high school, I did start thinking about just getting a track scholarship to college. I didn't think I was going to be like a pro or Olympian level. I was just
Mhm.
like, okay, I want to get a D1 scholarship, and that was my goal. And then from there, just
Oh, yeah.
got the scholarship eventually. Went to college and in Corpus, and yeah.
Yeah, did you graduate?
Yes.
Yeah. What'd you graduate with?
Business marketing.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
But I wasn't one of those. I didn't care. I think in high school I met somebody who did marketing at Nike, and that made me want to say I wanted to do marketing.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I majored in
Mm-hmm.
it. But if I could go back to my younger self or something, I'll probably major in industrial design.
What do you feel like is the main like driving force for your creativity in music? As far as like what kind of inspires you while you're writing, and what do you like to make your music about, and like what do you feel like you want it to stand for? You know.
I do make a lot of love songs or relationship songs. I just can't sing. I just realized at one point those were like my most popular songs.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I should just stick to this. There's nobody that really does it as a rapper, like consistently or in that space. So that was me trying to do it. I do like some rap songs or try to have cool bars all the time. And even if I think it's fire, they never do as good as I think they're going to do.
I feel like that's the case with everything, not even just music. Podcasts I put out that I think are gonna be the best ones, like just fucking flop. So, but the ones that I think like you just put out and you're just like, it's all right, and that ends up like being like one of the better ones, you know?
Yeah, man.
According to the audience.
So yeah, I try to do the girl songs, love songs. I'm getting pretty good at knowing if something's gonna like go or not. So, I mean, that's good on one hand.
Are you writing about a specific someone?
But yeah. No, normally it's a lot of stories combined. Sometimes there'll be certain people. Sometimes it'll be a certain person in the first verse, a second person in the second verse. We're just taking people's stories. I'm always like not interviewing people, but I'll sit down with people if they're in a relationship and I'll just ask them like, how did you guys meet? Or like, tell me like your love story. And I'll use like little stuff like that to just try to figure out. But normally not like one consistent person or thing. So just always like trying to think, or I don't know, sometimes I feel like I do self-sabotage and try to like use my life or put myself in situations for content. So but yeah, just anything that'll inspire or playing out situations. So maybe it didn't all the way happen, but if it did happen, like how would this go? So I'll write like that sometimes. So
hell yeah,
just trying to figure out different ways. Or sometimes I did something and I'll write it from a girl perspective, even though it's my perspective. Or maybe a girl did something and I'll try to write it as if like the guy is doing this. So just always trying to get creative in that way. But yeah,
that's awesome, bro. I mean, that's super interesting to me. Every time I interview artists, I'm like super interested in their creative processes, because I feel like everybody's different, you know. And so when you're in that mode of creating music, what does that look like? Are you where are you sitting? Like what's the environment like? What's your mind? What's your like emotions or mindset at that time? Like, kind of take me through that.
So normally, day to day, let's just say I get inspired. A person inspires me to write. So normally, maybe I'm always talking to that person, or maybe I'm not talking to that person anymore. I'm just thinking about situations. But yeah, so day to day, we'll put on beats. I'll write to those beats in the morning going to work. Normally my commute is pretty long, even though it's in the same town, but it's all the way across town. So normally commute is pretty long. So I'm just going through beats to see if anything catches like a vibe. So I'll do that on the way to work, at lunch, and after work, going. And then if we figure out something, we'll figure out something and write to it. So just trying to come up with melodies or anything. I'll use Snapchat because it can capture in the car. You can get like, if it's not hooked up to CarPlay, you can get like the true audio and your voice at the same time. So it's good for making like little demos that you won't forget just because you're driving. So obviously I don't want to open up the notes app and try to write. And then sometimes that way you might forget like the melodies too. So so I'll try to do that. And I'm just listening all day, and that's pretty much the same process every day, and just trying to catch something that like makes sense. Or sometimes you'll get like a verse, or maybe you think you got something good and I'll go record it and it's not as good as I thought it sounded when I was practicing it in the car. Or you just get like a lot of like, I think for this project I had about 3 songs that were like the same kind of idea or same song. I mean, obviously they're different, but just overall it felt like the same thing. But I was trying to get a certain idea out, and then finally on one of the songs that made the album, I was like, oh, okay, this is what I was trying to do for those other 2 songs, but I just did it much better here. So just always, I don't know, just listening to beats multiple times a day and just trying to get those feelings out and just figuring out what I want songs to be about. And I know there are love songs, but trying to make them like different aspects of the love or the relationship timeline.
For sure. Yeah, and when you're kind of Do you ever like sit down and write out things, or it's mostly like just kind of playing with?
No, I sit down for sure. So if I get home from work, maybe I just decided to listen to a podcast on the way home. Maybe when I get home or at night after a run or something, I'll just still throw on some beats and say like, hey, maybe I need to finish this second verse, or maybe I recorded a first verse and I've been listening to the demo in the car and say, okay, what can we write this second verse about? So yeah, all the time I'll sit down and write like that. But I'm always not trying. I do write down everything, but I'm always trying not to like force it. So I don't want to sit there and be like, all right, I got to think of this line. And if I get stuck like on line 3 or halfway through the verse, I try to just like either go record it and see if when I get to the halfway point, if the spirit, quote unquote, can kind of take over and give me like some lines or some mumbles that I can fill in, or I'll just stop and say, all right, let me open up a different song and see if we can come up with some ideas for that song.
Do you feel like a lot of it kind of just happens spontaneously, like it's just in the moment? Or do you feel like most of your time you're just kind of ironing out like details and more so just having to spend a little bit more time on it?
Some stuff is in the moment and it happens quick, and then just some stuff happens slow. I know records that I like, or maybe it's a good idea. I'll get excited, and since I have the home set up, I can just go home and record it right away, or get like this demo down to see how it sounds. And then some stuff is like, all right, I might have got like the hook fast or half the song fast, but it might take like a couple weeks for the second verse or to figure out what to talk about in the second verse. So just small stuff like that.
Is there someone you share your music with, like the first person you want to get an opinion off of, or do you just
person? If it's about somebody, I'll probably send it to them, or just like maybe just the verse that's about them to them. Besides that though, I think I have certain people. I'll just gauge it with some of my friends, be like, hey, what do you think about this song? Or even if they're not my friends, it's better. Or if they don't care that I do music, it's better because they'll give me like I'll get a sense of true feedback. Or just even pressing send and sending it to somebody, I get like true self-reflection, like, oh, I think this probably sucks. I shouldn't have sent it. So you get some of that. But yeah, I try to before I put out the album, when I figured out what the tracks were going to be, or just trying to figure out what the tracks were going to be, I sent it to a couple people. I was like, hey, out of these 13 songs, just tell me what's your favorite. It can be one song, it can be no songs, it can be 3 songs, it can be 6 songs. Just tell me your favorite, and people will send them back. And then I gauge that with what I think are my favorites. And I'm like, oh, okay, like maybe I can put something together, like try to find a story based off these songs, or try to make sure they're not like too similar or what I'm missing. So off of this album, what is, and it's called Last Night in Houston? That's like the album? That's the album before this recent one. So the most recent one, I think it comes up as an EP, but I call it an album. But the most recent one is Sorry About Last Night.
Yes.
And then Last Night in Houston. So kind of like the titles go together. But
take me back to your first ever performance, bro. What was that like?
First ever was probably talent show, 9th grade in high school.
Oh shit!
It was tight. I didn't have no backing vocals then, just the beat. So I've been a professional with the shows. But yeah, it's fun. I don't know if people seem to like it. I do have a video of it. I look crazy, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. What about like your first out in the, not the real world, because obviously that's real world too, but like when you kind of like in your professional career, you know?
Probably around, it had to be sometime in high school. I think I felt the same.
Damn. So you've been performing. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 31.
31.
But yeah, it kind of felt the same. Just people. But
do you get nervous before shows?
I'm getting less nervous. I used to get not nervous, but like I have to like pee a lot. That lets me know like I'm probably nervous before the show if I'm like going to the bathroom a lot. But these days I kind of just like focus a little bit more, or not really like too talkative to people. But normally I'm practicing so much, so I don't get too nervous or think I'm gonna mess up or anything. I'm just like excited to get up there and just perform.
For sure. But what's like your ultimate goal? Like what are some goals you've laid out for yourself?
To get on ACL is one of my goals. That's been a goal for a couple of years now. But probably this year was probably the first realistic year, and then we had all the stuff happening with Austin FC and the news and all the album stuff. So it kind of would have been perfect to like roll into. But
what happened with Austin FC?
So Austin FC, I was on the Heartbeat jersey reveal. My song was the first song in that commercial video, and then me and Austin FC also did like a little freestyle pregame music to when they faced San Diego.
Oh hell yeah, that's badass,
for one of the matches. So it was cool. That one was a collab post, and then just the normal video. It had Matthew McConaughey talking in the beginning. So super.
How did
dope.
that come about?
I thought it was set up for me to be done, but the director, he seen my KUTX Studio 1A and he seen the Neon Sign song, and I guess he thought that would be a cool song to go in the front of that video. Mm-hmm. So from there, they just hit me up probably a week or two before it dropped. I'm kind of superstitious about things happening, so when they told me it was going to happen, but then they didn't, like, he was like, all right, I'm going to send you the paperwork, blah, 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 tomorrow. And this is not the director, but this is just the guy in charge of the video. He's like, I'm going to send you the paperwork tomorrow. And I was like, all right. So, like, he's never sending the paperwork. And then I think the next week they had, like, a second shoot, because I don't think my song was mentioned or I was a part of it during the first shoot. But then they had this second shoot for the video that you see. Mm-hmm. So came to the second shoot, got to meet the director. He told me how he found the song, because I kind of asked him. And I was like, okay, like, I hope it's still going to be in it, because at that point I still hadn't received it. So let's fast forward to, like, the next week. And the video is going to come out on the Wednesday, because I was like, man, they keep doing previews on the Instagram. And I was like, he still hasn't sent the paperwork. Are they going to use the song? And then Tuesday night, he finally sent it. So then the song ended up being in the video. Super cool and appreciative. And then the freestyle one was like another random thing. The director hit me up, was like, hey, I heard you're gonna do another song with Austin FC. And I was like, I didn't hear that. And then so we collaborated on that, and then just ended up putting it together. And the one on that video, I actually produced a beat to that one that I sent him as a reference, but then he ended up using a different track. But yeah, it was super cool and super appreciative, like I said, for that. But yeah, that's how that happened. So shout out Austin FC.
Yeah, that's a fucking dope opportunity, bro. And so outside of music, what's your you don't have to drop your government if you don't want.
Wesley?
Oh, okay, yeah. Who's Wesley, like, outside of music, bro? Like, what do you enjoy doing?
Normally, if I'm not doing music, I'm probably running or just working or watching basketball.
Shit, who's your team?
My team, I like the Spurs as a team, but LeBron is my favorite player.
Hell yeah.
LeBron and LeBron, Harden, and SGA.
Damn, okay. Damn, so do the Nuggets and OKC play today?
No, I think they play tomorrow.
Yeah. There's definitely Knicks, and then
the Knicks is today.
Yeah, there's another. It's probably Warriors and Timberwolves then.
Warriors, Timberwolves did last night.
Oh shit! So
I think today is just the
Knicks.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Damn. Yeah, I'm a huge basketball fan too. I haven't been able to keep up with the playoffs, but it's been interesting, bro. These playoffs have actually been really dope.
Yeah, it has. It's been good, man.
And so we have basketball, running. So I mean, being that you do talk a lot about relationships in your songs, bro, what's kind of like are you single right now? Are you in a relationship?
I'm lonely.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding, but yeah, I'm single at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your have you been in a long-term relationship before?
Yes.
Yeah. How long was that?
How long? Very long time.
Really?
I don't know how long. Like a long time.
Like 5-6 years?
No, longer than that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, an actual long-term relationship.
Yeah. Damn. Okay.
So, yeah.
And in your opinion, what's kind of like what do you feel like dating is like? Do you feel like it has changed over the years, especially with like social media and everything like that?
I would say at its roots, it's probably still like the same it's always been. You probably can't be. Social media probably messed up being thirsty, but besides that, no, it's pretty much the same. But yeah, now it's just you can only be thirsty if like the other person likes you. For sure. Because you get exposed. No, not exposed, but just like you get looked at like maybe like a little weird or like, you know what I'm saying? You get like those opinions, but I think like, you just got to contain your thirsty, because maybe you really like a person, but that other person isn't there, or if they're on the edge about you. could push them away. But back in the day, I mean, you listen to the R&B songs from like the 90s, they were all like stalkers and stuff. Like, it worked out.
I mean, do you think approaching a girl is still like the thing to do nowadays, or do you feel like it's I mean, obviously there's a lot more online dating and like shooting DMs, but do you feel like that's still the best way?
Approaching in person?
Yeah.
It just depends.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. People say they want that, but then, you know, it's like I said, it's just if the wrong person or you have the wrong energy and you do it, it might not work out. But I don't know. It just varies. Like,
would you?
Yeah, I've like not approached people to like date them, but just to be like a normal person. But maybe you figure out you want to date them, or maybe you're doing stuff subconsciously to like date them. But normally, I don't know. I try to keep to myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would approach somebody in person. It would just have to feel right, I guess.
For sure. What are your thoughts on having like for example, like having like a girl best friend in a relationship?
Oh, so you're dating and then you have a girl best friend?
Yeah, or like the girl has a guy best friend.
Like your actual best friend, or just like pretend best friend?
See, that's interesting because like I
don't know if you like knew them your whole life or something, like since you were a kid, then I guess sure. I mean, you can't control. One thing I learned is like you don't know, even if it's like their ex or whatever, you don't know what kind of bond or whatever that they've built with each other. So you can't really not control what somebody else does or what they want to do or who they want to talk to. Even if you try to control it or tell them that they have a problem with it, if they want to talk to that person, they're probably going to do it at the end of the day, if they think it's worth it or not. But it's just up to you to set that boundary or not set that boundary. And if you tell somebody like, hey, like, I think I'm uncomfortable with like your male best friend, and if they don't like respect that, then it's on you to either like eat that or just, you know, just decide to separate from them and find somebody who doesn't have a male best friend or a girl best friend or whatever. But I don't know, it just depends on the situation. But yeah, you can't tell anybody what to do. We're all adults. So at the end of the day, you know, if that's really your best friend, you're probably going to talk to them regardless.
For sure. What would be you say you're kind of in a lonely era right now?
No, I'm not. That was a joke. I'm not.
Okay. Got you.
I'm just single. Yeah.
I would consider. I still am a very nice person, nice guy. Like, I'm not an asshole by any means, but sometimes you hear like nice guys kind of get taken advantage of and stuff like that. What would be advice? Would you say that you're in that category, or are you more like, nah, like I'm setting my boundaries?
I'm probably too nice.
Got you.
If I had to look at it, I'm probably too nice. Either that, or it's either 0 or 100.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So yeah, I'm bad at being like in between, or just like, you know, if a boundary set or somebody decides they don't want to be, I don't like want to be your friend after, if we're not like truly friends or whatever. It's just like, let's just take it back to 0. Because I want to be the 100%. But yeah, I'm probably too nice. And then sometimes I do realize this about myself. Sometimes I will just be being like nice and genuine, and then some girls might take it as like I'm hitting on them and want to be with them. But I don't know. Sometimes I'm just being nice, but it might come off as like flirty or I'm trying to get with them. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty nice. I don't know. What do nice people do? I'll like take you out and stuff or whatever. Or if the first date goes bad, I'm like, yeah, let's go on date number 2. Let's see if it's like for real bad. I tell this to people all the time. I guess this is my advice. I tell people all the time that the first date is just like a fill out. It's probably going to be awkward. You're just meeting somebody new that you've probably been talking to for however many weeks. But if nothing crazy, like they're not a serial killer, happens on the first date, then just pencil in that, like, if you're already going to go out them once, just go out them for that second time. And see if they're truly like, you know, because everybody would be more comfortable. You probably didn't talk some more. Just go out on that second date.
For sure. Damn, I need to follow that advice.
And then that second date, then you figure out like, oh, okay, like this person, they are weird or whatever you thought the first date. But if there's nothing crazy major that first date and you was already excited or whatever to go out with them that first date, just go on date number 2.
For sure. That's great advice. Sometimes I take that first date like to heart, you know, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know, you know, and then.
No, if y'all can still talk after, I just count on it being weird just because you don't know this person and both of y'all are trying to fill out. Like both of y'all are playing like, not games with each other, but y'all are playing games and trying to like, all right, are they really like this? Are they the
Mm.
person I was texting or blah blah blah? Like, let's figure it. So I just say like just do number 2 as like the real date, but number 1 is just like a fill out.
And
like,
what's a good like first date for you? What's like your not your go to, because I feel like you
Go-to.
get different situations, but what's like your vibe, you know, for
first date? I'll do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm too nice. All the stuff I thought in my head was crazy. I don't know. We could meet up somewhere like a coffee shop. Could go play like a game not like game in place, but like an active game in place. I don't know, something that's like fun, or you could just get to know somebody. But normally, I think people like go to coffee or something.
I think that's perfect.
I've gone to coffee like a bunch, just to meet people and talk. But yeah, but I don't know if that's like a good first date or if that sets like the vibe to be like romantic or on date number 2. But I think it's a good fill out to be like, because like I said, I'm looking at it of a date number 2 perspective. If everything is cool on the coffee, I'm like, all right, cool.
Let's
but I know everybody doesn't think like that.
Yeah, me, I feel like the first date's always just like chill, in my opinion. Like I'm definitely not gonna spend a bag on that first date at all. You know, we're gonna get to know each other. Like one of my favorite first dates, like I'm not talking to the girl anymore, but it was a good first date. It was literally just, we met up at the park and we walked to a coffee shop. It was in Austin. And yeah, it was just like a long ass walk, and talking, and it was solid.
See, that's fire.
Yeah, but then that second date, if the first date, you know, there's some potential there, then that second one, I feel like you can kind of spice things up a bit.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I feel like too. But yeah, I don't know. I won't. I'll drop a bag the first date.
Really? Oh, okay.
It just I don't know. Maybe if you were feeling it, like maybe if you felt like, it depends how long y'all were talking, obviously. But maybe you feel like, oh man, like we've been texting good, we've been on the phone. This first date gotta be fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you might get in your own head. But yeah, but I like that. The little walking thing to the coffee shop is like a good chance to kind of, I don't know, feel each other out. For sure. Like I said.
Yeah. I also went to have you heard of De Nada?
Mm-mm.
So De Nada is it's called De Nada Cantina, but it's like a Mexican restaurant here that sells like these really fucking good margaritas, but they only have like a two limit per person. Bro, we only had one and we were like fucking buzzing. But that was like a really good first date, because like I wouldn't recommend, like, I wouldn't say alcohol always should be involved, but in this case, it kind of just loosens everything up, you know? Like, you kind of get to see that person a little bit more, like, in their comfort zone. Yeah. Alcohol can help sometimes, you know, in my opinion.
See, I don't drink, so I don't have I just gotta be, I don't know myself. I just gotta be weird and awkward. And
do you have any vices?
If they can get through that, no. I don't know. I probably have something, but you have to ask somebody,
never smoked before?
Somebody else. No, never smoked before. Don't enjoy the smell. But yeah, I don't know.
Hell yeah, bro.
I'm sure there's something I do that somebody's like, yes.
Hell yeah. What would you say is your red flag? Like when someone's like from another person's perspective, you know?
I don't know. You got like what I do?
Yeah, what you do that's like, that might come across to someone as a red flag.
Dang, probably, I don't know. I'd be on social media, but I have to be, I have to be a lot. So maybe the social media or just interacting with people. But what do I do that to red? I don't know. Nobody's ever told me.
You're just a wholesome king?
Maybe just when I'm weird. I'm probably weird and awkward. So yeah. That's it. But I think I have a problem with trusting people. So I'm like a little bit like reserved or like held off.
Is that because you were burnt before, or that kind of?
No, I think just naturally. I think like sometimes I don't even tell people I do music and stuff. Like people just working for the Spurs and even doing music at how small I am. Like people just like start treating you weird or asking like unnatural like questions and stuff like that. So I just don't want somebody to see that, like, I don't know, I have all these cool things going on, or they see me posting like Spurs pictures that they think like a certain thing, and then they just like, I don't know, they don't like me for me just because I do all this cool stuff, which I know like is cool and like I can use it to my advantage. But so I think just on that end, sometimes if I actually like the person, I'm probably like a little like held off or like reserved or awkward. But once I get to like know people, or if I'm around people enough, then I'll be my natural self.
Yeah. Do that's a good point, because like for me, I I rarely tell people I do a podcast when I meet them, and like it's not until they follow me and they're just like they see all this fucking content.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Is that how you are with your music?
Yeah,
or?
most of the time, if people like, if I meet you in person and like we have like a decent conversation in person, or like you find me or decide to follow me, then like our next conversation, the time we see each other, let's just say we didn't talk on social media, but you do music, or your music actually good, all this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. But yeah, most of the time I try not to bring it up. But yeah, because people just start like, most of the time I don't like being interviewed unless I like know I'm gonna be like in an artist setting, or like I have a performance or something, or I'll be around like during South by or something. I'm like, I know it's gonna come. But if it's just like day to day, I don't want to be like, I do music, then people start like just
asking all these questions,
reeling off like random questions.
Yeah.
Unless you're like naturally, if you're into music or something, and I can tell that you're into music, and you start like just if it's like a natural conversation, then yeah, like I'll go with it and tell you. But I'm not just gonna be like, oh, by the way, guess what? I just met you. I do music.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
Like, nah.
For sure. Do you feel like it's being like doing music and being that's like your thing, and I guess that lifestyle, do you feel like it's conducive to like a good relationship? Like hypothetically, what if you're like at ACL, like you just fucking like at the point everything goes the way you want it to and you fucking blow up, and that's do you feel like that's like relationships kind of get harder when that comes about?
No, I think you gotta have a person that understands, or maybe they have their own life too. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they have their own goals or own things that they have going on, and it's just not you that's their life.
Yeah.
Or just somebody, I don't know, that also does shows or also does music or something else creative, so where they understand like the time or things that you need to commit to, or doing things, or sometimes maybe you don't want to be bothered, or if you have a show, like I don't know, you might not take them to the show because it might feel like a certain way, or like you feel like instead of focusing on the show, I'm like caring about you in this moment, or are you good, instead of like, yo, I gotta focus on the show.
Yeah.
All this stuff. But I don't know, just getting somebody that understands and having that conversation with them. But I'm pretty chill. I'm a homebody. I don't really be going out and stuff like that unless I do have something music related.
Yeah.
So I don't think for me it would be a problem or anything, but you never know.
Yeah, I feel that.
I know music does involve like a lot of sacrifice, so I think it's just somebody who kind of can understand or get it.
Love that. And have you experienced burnout before, like when it comes to creating music, or like just a block?
Yeah, I've gotten writer's block before. That's probably the first time I learned how to make beats. So I was just making beats every day, or trying to make beats every day, and learning the skill of that when I got writer's block. But yeah.
Did it affect you a lot, or was it just like, fuck, I just can't write?
Oh, it's just like nothing. I don't have anything to inspire me. So like I said, I wasn't going to force it.
Yeah. So what'd you do to kind of help you in that? What's like your advice to someone
to get back writing?
Yeah. Or just to get those juices flowing and get back to that
time. You just got to live, I guess, or just find something that makes you, want to write. Eventually it'll come. You're building up stories in the back of your head. I don't know. Find some love, do some self-sabotage to get some content. But yeah, no advice. Just let it play out.
Yeah.
Find another craft or skill that you can practice while you're not writing.
Do you feel like experiences help with that? Like you have to kind of just go through shit?
No, I'm not one of those writers. I think that plays a little bit into it. But if you can write, you can write. Even if it's just, I'll tell people to practice just writing. If you have a song idea, don't worry about it rhyming or it being like a structured thing. Just write out your thoughts for the day, or just write out what you think the song can be about. Just doing just normal writing.
Got you. For someone who's kind of, because I feel like even in podcasting or just in content and music in general, like you're always going to have there's so many people that are like, yeah, I want to make music, I want to do this, I want to do that. But to actually like put it into practice, release an album, be consistent, like do shows and stuff, like there's a difference between like saying you want to do that and actually doing it, So for someone who like says they want to take that leap but isn't like what's just advice you would give them if they're like at that beginning stage of wanting to do that?
You just got to do it. I don't know. You just got to do it. I tell people, I'll send them links. Just buy your own little home studio setup. Practice with yourself first. Because that first money that you spend on the studio, you can just use that money to just buy all the things you need. So just record and write, and then just put it out. Don't overthink it. Don't try to think, is this the proper way? I got a copyright, trademark, blah, blah, blah. Just put it out. Everybody you see that's popping today, just put it out, and then you just figure it out later. If you get big or if you never get big, then, no worries. But yeah, just put it out, get started. Trying to make some connections the best way you can. Think about getting better. Don't just think about your town. Think about everybody. If you're rapping, you're competing with Drake, you're competing with Kendrick, everybody. So try to think of it that way. And then the wants that you have will always be there, probably no matter how big you get. So if there's somebody that wants to be like me, or they wish they had a show at Stubbs, or they got to play on the news, or they got to work with Austin FC, I also still want things too. Like I was telling you, like I want to be on ACL, I want to be on Coachella, Lollapalooza, all those things. I want to be on somebody's tour. So that want, or the things that you have, or that you think that other artists aren't wanting, they still want it. And and the bigger you get, enjoy it while you're small, because the bigger you get, it only creates like more pressure for yourself. So it's easy. A good example is it's easy to do a song and it gets 0 plays and put out another song. Where you start thinking is you put out a song and it gets 1 million plays. Then you're like, all right, like, well, how do I get another 1 million plays? Instead of just thinking like, oh man, I got 0 plays that last song. It's like, whatever. So just things like that. Even how I was telling you how I was doing all these things because I thought maybe I had a chance to be on ACL. Now in my mind, I think about, all right, well, the next time I'll have this chance is next May. How can I recreate, or how can I be bigger than all this stuff that just happened just now?
Yeah.
And that's not like a problem for like everybody, or like a smaller artist, or who like, where do I take all the opportunities that I've done and how do I make that grow?
For sure.
So it's just about, figuring out things like that, or figuring out, who's going to help you, or who can help you, or what are some next steps that you can do to get bigger. So, growth is always just like hard. So just enjoying while you're smaller, try not to grow too fast and just focusing on getting better. But, we all got to think about the same things at the end of the day, whether 0 plays or 1 play, just trying to make a better song and just get better creatively. So if you focus on that and try your best not to focus on, opportunities or results, it'll just come.
Yeah.
Naturally. But yeah.
Love that, bro. I mean, I can definitely relate to that. I feel like the times that I've, like, for example, when I was doing certain podcasts that were doing like really good numbers, it's like sometimes you can get kind of caught up in that, like thinking instead of, all right, what conversation do I want to have, and who's the best person that I want to have be sitting down next to me, and who's gonna give me really, like, who am I gonna connect with the most, and who's the audience gonna really resonate with the most, as opposed to like, oh, who's gonna get the most like views on YouTube. And for the most part, like, the times I enjoy it are the times that I'm sitting down with someone I genuinely wanted to talk to and I'm curious about, So I think it's just approaching it like in a very natural and pure way, as opposed to like, all right, I'm just doing this to get clout, or like just doing it for the numbers. And although that's important, bro, because I can't sit here and say that that's not on my mind, because it always is. Like I'm always trying to figure out ways where in a way, just expand the audience, because that's where opportunities come, and that's how everything comes,
Yeah, I think it definitely is always on your mind, but just when you're creative or making those decisions, you got to try your best not to let it be on your mind. I mean, even from the Last Night in Houston album, when I put out the Some No video, it had plants all over the video. And it was getting like a lot of traction and all these plays, and everybody likes the song, still likes the song. I thought, man, like, how can I make another song like this, or that people ask about the video? I was like, man, I don't know. And then all of a sudden I get the Dream About Me song, and then it's like the same thing, and it's like people ask even more questions about that video, or that song got even more plays. So I think just naturally, even if you want to think about it, I think it'll probably just like come, and then you can always like promote your old stuff. So if you have something that you like or that's good, I mean, if it's just a small record, nobody all over knows, so you can just keep promoting it until, you know, I don't know, you can't promote it anymore. Just like just bring it back, just like, yo,
For
like
sure.
I think once I got like a lot of new followers, I put out some video that I did like 5 years ago. I just reposted it as if it was like a new video, and people were like, oh man, I seen your new video yesterday, that's so cool. I'm like, yeah, thanks man,
did this shit already. Been 5 years.
But yeah, so just doing stuff like that. But yeah, it does get hard to not think about it. But yeah. I don't know.
So when it's on your mind, like what do you feel like is, obviously you love music, you wouldn't be as consistent, you wouldn't have been doing it for as long as you have if you didn't. But also like what kind of continues to motivate you to, like when it comes to the growth and wanting to be on those bigger stages and stuff, like what do you feel is like the main driving force for that? Is it to be able to create freely and just being financially free to do so, or like what's kind of like your motivation every day?
Motivation, I think just getting more creative. So I think creativity always plays in the forefront. I'm still from that era, trying to be different and not make the same kind of records or try to do what's like kind of popular. So I'm always trying to figure out ways to make like girl songs or relationship songs different or better, or what kind of sounds, and these beats are not like the sounds that are popular right now, or, you know, just like the main thing, but they still sound good, like they could be popular. Or what video ideas or concepts can I come up with that we can shoot that is going to get like a lot of attention, or, you know, just creatively just always trying to push like the boundary within like the budget I can afford to do that in. So just trying to just always be just more creative. I think that's what I'm always thinking of when I want to like ground myself or just continue doing music. It's just like I have space to get better or do things better, execute these things better. So I'm just trying to improve that as I go forward, regardless of opportunities that come or that I get. Just always trying to be more creative. For
sure. And just like some few final questions here, like when you think about throughout your life, and it can be recent or it can just be a period of your life, what are some internal struggles you've had to like overcome?
Internal struggles, let me see. I think for a while, maybe just not unhappy, but how can I describe it? I think for a while I was putting my happiness last and everybody else's happiness around me before mine. So I don't know, taking care of everybody else before you take care of yourself. And then I kind of had to make a switch to kind of put myself in the beginning of that sentence. So I don't know, just caring about myself a little more, my happiness, and making sure I'm okay. But that's been a struggle. And then just success. I think everybody probably thinks about this, just wondering, like, am I getting too old to do music, or is stuff going to work out? Or, you know, am I running out of time or opportunity? Or just always thinking just like when, I think I'll always probably do music, but just thinking when I should like stop pursuing it as aggressively behind the scenes, or like, I don't want to say wasting money, or putting like investing money toward it that could obviously go something into my real life that's probably more helpful or beneficial to my day-to-day everyday life. So just thinking of when things like that, or just, you know, like the money creates like some financial struggles that I probably don't have to have if I didn't do music. You know, I could just be living like regular, or I wouldn't have certain problems that occur or come up, or some weeks are light, or I'm thinking about how am I gonna eat lunch, or how can I stretch this out over the week until I get paid again, or stuff like that. So I think just like maybe some happiness things, and then just like some financial things. Yeah,
that's real, bro. I appreciate you sharing that, and definitely something I think about all the time too. I think the way I think about it is like, can you picture your life any other way, like not doing that stuff, you know, which is the hard thing. But from an outside perspective, like, you got it. Honestly, it's just it's literally just a matter of getting the right or being in front of the right people, and being just being on that platform so that you can kind of shine those talents. I think that's the biggest thing, because it's not. I don't think, at least from my perspective, it's not a matter of are you good or like you got it. It's just a matter of those right connections to be able to get you to that spot, and just being in that. Yeah, just being in that position where more people are like, oh shit, Wes Denzel,
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, bro, I'm rooting for you for sure too. Always, bro. That's because even just like you can tell when someone does it. I believe in whatever avenue, in music or in podcasting or anything, you can tell when someone genuinely is doing it for the right reasons and they're serious about their craft. Like that comes out, and I think as long as you keep doing that, like I think God will make a way for you. What would be, I guess, your advice for someone that is kind of in a tough spot mentally, and they're just trying to claw themselves out of it? What's something you'd want to say to them?
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta stop saying I don't know. Fake it till you make it. I don't know. Go in the mirror, go smile at yourself, do something silly, and just remember whatever you're trying to get through, it'll pass. I normally tell people when it rains, it pours, and that's with good opportunity and bad times. So if you have some good opportunities coming and a lot of them coming, it's raining and good opportunity. And when you have some bad things happening, and if it keeps happening, just tell yourself when it rains, it pours. Like, eventually all these bad things will stop happening. But being grateful and appreciative for those good moments, just as much as you are in those kind of bad moments, and just knowing that it's going to pass. And like I said, if you're really feeling down, if you go smile at yourself in the mirror when you're sad, you'll probably start laughing because it's a silly thing to do. But,
for sure.
But just remembering that, stuff is temporary. It's going to pass. It's probably going to get better. Most of the stuff we probably stressing about doesn't matter day to day, real life. And then if you need to, go talk to somebody that you really trust, or just get a random therapist so they could just hear you vent for an hour or something, or sign up for one of those free subscriptions and just vent to somebody random for an hour just to
come on the
out.
Most Vulnerable Player.
Or, type it out in your notes what you're thinking. But yeah, anything to kind of just get those thoughts out of you. I think I just started talking to one of my friends the other day about some random stuff, and I was like, oh, I know you don't care, but I'm just telling you this because I gotta get it out because I don't want to hold it in. So normally if I have something that's gonna get me upset, or I know it's gonna bother me a lot, I just gotta talk to somebody random about it and just say, all right, I just had to get that out, so I'm not holding it in. And then because I'll become like a hater and all this stuff. But yeah, so I don't know, just get it out as best as you can, and just when it rains, it pours. With good and bad things. So
hell yeah, man. Well, that is Wes Denzel on episode 74 of The Most Vulnerable Player. You got your latest project.
Sorry About Last Night.
And that is already out on Spotify, Apple.
Yep, already out on everywhere you can listen to music. And then we're probably going to come with the chopped and slow version in the summertime. So
yeah, man. Well, it was a pleasure, bro. I appreciate you making the time. Drove from San Antonio, so I appreciate your time, bro. It really means a lot. And yeah, man, we will see you guys